Hello friends, welcome to the course Atoms and Molecules for MSc Physics as per the revised syllabus of Savitribai Phule Pune University CBCS 2019 pattern. So we are studying our second module molecules. So in this lecture we will study the valence bond theory. So we have seen in the previous lecture different theories of bonding. So in the previous lecture we have studied the molecular orbital theory. In this lecture we will study the valence bond theory. The valence bond theory was introduced by Hayter and London, and it was further developed by Linus Pauling. Electrons in a molecule occupy atomic orbitals rather than molecular orbitals, and the atomic orbitals overlap on the bond formation, and the larger the overlap, the stronger is the bond. The valence electrons of the atoms in a molecule reside in quantum mechanical atomic orbitals. The orbitals can be standard s, p, d and f orbitals, or they may be hybrid combination of these orbitals. A chemical bond results when these atomic orbitals interact and there is a total of 2 electrons in the new molecular orbital. The electrons must be spin paired. The shape of the molecule is determined by the geometry of the interacting orbitals. So let us see the postulates of this theory. So covalent bonds are formed when two valence orbitals half-filled belonging to two different atoms overlap on each other. The electron density in the area between the two bonding atoms increases as a result of this overlapping, and thereby increasing the stability of the resulting molecule. Another postulate is the presence of many unpaired electrons in the valence shell of an atom enables it to form multiple bonds with other atoms. The paired electrons present in the valence shell do not participate in the formation of the chemical bond as per the valence bond theory. Right? The covalent chemical bonds are directional and are also parallel to the region corresponding to the atomic orbitals that are overlapping. Based on the pattern of overlapping, there are two types of covalent bonds, sigma bond and a pi bond. The sigma bond is formed by the axial overlapping of the two atomic orbitals, whereas the pi bonds are formed from sidewise overlapping of the orbitals. A set of overlapping orbital has a maximum of 2 electrons that must have opposite spins. The greater the orbital overlap, the stronger or more stable is the bond. The valence atomic orbitals in a molecule are different from those in the isolated atoms, that is called as hybridization. So a covalent bond forms when the orbitals of the two atoms overlap and are occupied by a pair of electrons that have the highest probability of being located between the two nuclei. For example, the formation of H2 molecule. So in the case of H2 molecule, we have the psi 1s, so that is 1s orbital of one hydrogen atom that will overlap with the 1s orbital of the another hydrogen atom, that will give us this kind of H2 bond, right? So here the atomic orbitals remain the properties of the individual atoms, but they overlap to form the bond, and the shared electron pair will be in between the two atoms, right? So the Linus Pauling proposed that valence atomic orbitals in the molecule are different from those in the isolated atoms. So the mixing of certain combinations of atomic orbitals generate new atomic orbitals. So the process of orbital mixing is called as hybridization and generates hybrid orbitals. Some atoms hybridize their orbitals to maximize bonding. So more the bonds, more full orbitals and more stability to the molecule. So hybridization is mixing of different types of orbitals in the valence shell to make a new set of degenerate orbitals. So there are different types of hybridization: sp, sp2, sp3, sp3d, sp3d2. So same type of atom can have different types of hybridization. So therefore, for example, in the case of carbon, we can have sp, sp2 or sp3 type of hybridization. So let us see the sp3 hybridization. So in the case of sp3 hybridization in carbon, atoms have with 4 electrons groups around it. So it has achieved the tetrahedral symmetry because of the sp3 hybridization, and the bond angle between the atomic orbitals is 109.5 degrees. So atom uses hybrid orbitals for all bonds and lone pairs, right? So this is a typical example of methane. In the case of methane, we have the sp3 hybridization in carbon, and which gives us this kind of tetrahedral geometry of methane molecule. So in the case of methane, so we have hydrogen. So hydrogen has one electron in its 1s orbital. So in the case of carbon, there are 4 valence electrons. So 2 in the 2s orbital and 2 in the 2p orbital. So two electrons in the 2s orbital, they are paired, whereas 2 electrons in the 2p orbitals, they are parallel. When these 2s and 2p orbitals, they hybridize, they form a hybridized sp3 hybrid orbital, and in which all the 4 electrons, they are parallel, and therefore they can form bond with the 4 other atoms, right? And therefore in the case of methane, these sp3 hybrid orbitals, 4 hybrid orbitals, they share the electrons with the 4 hydrogen atoms, and therefore the CH4 molecule will be formed, right? So this is sp3 hybridization. Let us move to the sp2 hybridization. In the case of sp2 hybridization, atoms with 3 electron groups around it. So the 3 groups are trigonal, therefore they form the trigonal planar system, right? So C carbon atom, it is trigonal planar, nitrogen if it is trigonal bent, and if it is O, then it is having a linear kind of geometry. So the bond angles, they are of 120 degrees, and the structure is flat, right? So atoms use hybrid orbitals for sigma bonds and lone pairs, and uses non-hybridized p orbitals for the pi bond. So hybridization of 1s and 2p orbitals result in 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals and one leftover unhybridized p orbital. Therefore in the case of carbon, we have 4 electrons in the 2s and 2p orbitals. When they will hybridize in the sp2 hybridization, we get 3 hybrid orbitals, so sp2 hybrid orbitals, and one leftover unhybridized p orbital. Now when the let us see the example of C2H4 molecule, right? So in the case of this C2H4 molecule, we have the hybridized orbital, so that will form a sigma bond. So sp2 that is hybridized sigma bond will be formed, and this unhybridized p orbital, that will form a p bond, right? So the p bond is localized above and below the that of the axis of the bond, and therefore we have two or a double bond, right? So one is sigma bond and another one is pi bond, and the bond angle between the this CC and CH bond, that means this orbital is 120 degrees, right? So in between this H and H also it is 120 degrees, right? Another kind of hybridization is sp hybridization. In this case, hybridization of 1s and 1p orbitals result in 2 sp hybridized orbitals and 2 leftover unhybridized p orbitals. Therefore in the case of carbon, again if you see the 2s and 2p orbitals, when they hybridize, in the case of sp hybridization, we get 2 sp hybridized orbitals. So 1s and 1p orbital, they will hybridize, and 2p orbitals, they will be left over unhybridized, right? So let us take an example of C2H2 molecule. So in the case of C2H2 molecule, we have the 2p orbitals left over, right? So a sigma bond will be formed between the 2 carbon atoms, the hybridized sp orbitals, and therefore that is a sigma bond, and 2 pi bonds will be formed above and below the bond axis, and these 2 p bonds we can say are due to the this unhybridized p orbitals, right? And therefore they are pi bonds, right? So they are the pi bonds. So therefore in the C2H2 molecule we have 3 bonds, right? So that it is a triple bond. So the bond angle is of the order of 180 degree, right? So this is sp hybridization. So in summary, we have studied the valence bond theory and different types of hybridization. In the next lecture, we will study the rotational energy levels of a diatomic molecule. Thank you.